All right, guys. I'd like to thank you for joining me tonight. This is Ken Big Blake from kenbigblake.com, inviting you to another Best Series. Best Series is a three-part series. The first part deals with incorporating. The second part deals with getting funding, and the third part deals with group economics. For those of you who are on here tonight, we're going to go over incorporating. So let me just give a brief interview. I'm sorry, a brief introduction. So my name, of course, is Ken Big Blake. I'm going to be your host this evening. If you want to find out more about me, you can go to kenbigblake.com / about big, or kenbigblake.com, and then it'll show you all the different things that I do and how long I've been in the business. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to share the screen. For those of you who have filled out the form, you received an email. That email gave you the password to the business success channel that's used as a resource. All right, so give me a moment. I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to go over a couple of things. Here we go. All right, so upon this here section of sharing the screen, I'm going to make sure you can just focus on that. All right. So the business success channel, the password we received in the email, and I'm just going to share with you a couple of things of why I provided this resource. This is one of the resources that I use when I wanted to gather some information. So I put this together for me, and then of course, with all the different friends and business people that I associate with, I just made sure that they were able to have access as well. So from here, you'll see incorporate now. So some of you guys received the link for this section, incorporate now. And so for those of you who went there, this is what you saw, and you were able to register, and it told you a little bit about the what's going to go on with each different series, right? And so, but anybody else that wanted to get on, they would have had to get access. All right, so once they have access, they'll see the different types of businesses: cooperatives, corporation, DBAs, general partnerships, limited liability companies, so forth and so on. So because I'm going to be covering a limited liability company today, I'm going to click on this link. All right. So if you didn't have the password, you'd have to sign in right now with the password provided in your email. And you would get here. So on the very top of every single one, it's going to have a definition of what that particular thing is. Then there'll be videos from different experts, so that way that you'll get their take on corporations, how to start that particular corporation, the pros and cons of it. Okay. And then you'll have a guy here for the LLC that says why you don't need an LLC to start your business, the self-employed tax guy. So you can also, if you find one of these people that you like, you can click on their link, subscribe to them, learn everything that you need to learn. I won't be doing these types of videos that you see these ladies and gentlemen doing, right? So if you go to legalities, you'll see all the different types of things that may concern you, what type of insurance, contracts, copyrights, patents, trademarks. And if you're a local expert, this is a link that you can join, so that way you will be able to share your services, and you may wind up being on the side. So the same thing, if I hit copyrights, it's going to give you an example. And then it's going to be different videos that share with you exactly how copyright law works. All right, so now let's get to the reason that you came here today, was to incorporate now. All right, so for those of you who are listening in, you are on a different page than this one, but this is one of the pages that has the information that we're looking forward to instructing you with. All right, so download Incorporating Your Business PDF now. This PDF is similar to what you're seeing from this part of the page down, and it's going to break down everything that you need to do just to basically get started, as well as open your bank account. So you might want to print that, but you can also download it and share it with other people. All right, so once you get through that, then it'll go over the steps to take. All right, guys. So when it comes to the steps to take for incorporation, of course, the first thing that you want to do is you want to think of a name, right? So that name could be your first initial, last initial, first initial, last name at associates or at enterprise. Or if you have a service, it could be the service like My Plumbing Company or Johnson's Plumbing and Heating.com or something similar to that. But just make sure that you have a name that can kind of be vague, or at the same time be definitely what you're going to do. Now, once you have that name picked out in your head, you want to click to check to see if that domain name is available. And one of the reasons you want to do that is because, think about it, when you're thinking about the business that you're going to be building, you don't want to have someone see that you're being successful. A lot of people are talking about your business. A lot of people are trying to find you, and they may go to johnsonandjohnson.com trying to look for you because that's the name of your business, but there's not a website there. So someone may buy the name, build a website around the business that you're doing, so that way they'll get your traffic and be able to make money. And the only reason you'll find out is this: somebody may come to you and they say, hey, I went to your website, and my website, what website? Johnson and Johnson. So the first thing you want to do once you come up with that is click this to check the domain names. It's going to take you here. All right. So the domain name that I'm going to go with is ihaveabusinessnow.com. Right. So I'm going to search to see if that name is available. When I search to see if it's available, if you see register here, that means that you can get that domain name. Here it's $12.99. I can register that domain, but before I register that domain, there's something that I want to be sure of. I want to be sure that I can actually use that name, right? So once I have the name, I see that I can register it. I'm going to click here for my corporate name check, right? So when I click on that, it's going to take me to this page. When you're looking to incorporate or start a business, it's going to basically take you to your Secretary of State. So once you click on that link, it has all of the secretaries of state, and you'll just scroll down until you see your Secretary of State. I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina, so I'm going to keep going until boom, there's North Carolina. So I'm going to click on North Carolina. Now, most of these sites are similar. They definitely try to make it easy for you. So as you see, when I click on North Carolina, right here at the top, it says, I want to. You can't get any simpler than that. So what do I want to do? I want to, it's under business, check name availability. That's the first thing that I'm going to do, because I want to make sure that I can incorporate that name as well as purchase that domain name. So when I click on this button, I can search by company, registered agents, assume business names, start with any words, all words, and then I put what I'm looking for. I have a business now, search. So once I hit that search button, it's going to go through what it needs to do. And then if there's another business out there that says I have a business now, it will tell me. Not only will it tell me, it will also let me know when that business was started. So I see that this one's available because there were no records found. So I'm safe enough to say that I can start this business, right? As an example, I'll put in another business. And if that business is registered here in Charlotte, North Carolina, After I hit the search bar, what it would do is it'll take me to that business or all the different ones. So there's one right here. There's one right here. And they're both LLCs. All right. So let's move forward. So the next step, after I've found that that domain name was available, then I want to go to the domain name, and then I can actually get the name. Is I want to go to step 4, download the paperwork. So of course this here is going to take us right back to the particular page that we were on, so that I could go through, or if I'm already on there, of course I already know where to go. Start a business. Right now, as you see here, some of the states you may be able to create that business online. Most of the states that have that, you'll just register your name, an email address, and you'll be able to do it from there. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you the form. So I'm just going to go to the regular start a business, choose the business structure. I already know the names available. Get started. And I'm going to start a limited liability corporation. So when I click on that limited liability corporation, it's going to tell me a little bit about that particular firm, as well as I can click here to pull up that page. So when I go to the page for LLC, I'm going to need an articles of organization. That's how you start an LLC. It's $125. So when I click on that link, it's going to take me right here. This is the form that's used. So what I'll do is I'll start filling this form out. You can fill it out right online. And you have to make sure you put LLC at the back of that, right? Now there's going to be another video that we're going to use, and that other video that we use is going to actually have the form totally filled out. So you'll see the name, the business address, and all of those things, but we're not going to do that at this point. Now, once you do that, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the next step on here, which is click for the employer identification number. That step, after you filled out the form, after you paid the filing fee for your particular corporation, is so that you can get the employer identification number, which is going to be used to help you set up your bank account for your business. Now, in some cases, you can, before this paperwork is even finished, or whether once you do it online, you can actually click for the EIN before you get your official paperwork back, so that you can get the EIN for it. Once you click on that link, it's going to take you right here. So this is the IRS site, and you can do this online. So you're going to scroll down and you'll see where it says apply online now. After all validations are done, you will get your EIN immediately upon completion. You can then download, save, and print your EIN confirmation notice. So you will get an email that's going to give you that, and you'll be able to print it to save it for your records. When the site is up, you'll click on this and it'll show you this here. You can read, and then you can begin application. For those of you who need to read all of this, that's fine as well, but this is what you'll hit. Now, once you hit that, you'll choose the type of business entity you set up. Limited liability corporation, right? Now, continue. You can read this information, then you can continue. Here, you're going to just put one because there's one of you. And then you're going to choose the state that you are in and hit continue. Now, once you move that, they'll also have some other things here. You're a single member LLC. You're a disregarded entity for the purpose of filing a federal tax return. If the only member of the LLC is an individual, these will be reported on a 1040. This is the easiest way for you to also do your taxes while you're doing that. Now, there'll be another video that shares with you how to fill out this form before you get to this. And that's what you want to do so that you'll be able to answer these questions easy. So what I'm going to do now is show you the actual form. So the legal name of entity for whom the EIN is being requested. So in this case, remember, it was I want, or I have a business now, LLC, right? And then trade name of business. So all these here you'll look at. We're also going to have a short video that's going to show how this form looks. But that way you want to fill this out. Now the name of responsible party, that's going to be you, or the person who's actually doing the paperwork for you, or the person who's doing the paperwork can put your information in there, but they're definitely going to need your social security number, right? Because this is working with the government. So once you finished filling this form out, and then you have that printed, once you go online and do it, and they give you your EIN number, you can write that EIN number on the form that I just pulled up. And then you can also get the EIN number and put all that information together, right? Now, it's going to take 3 to 5 days normally for the actual state to get back to you with the documentation that says you're an official corporation. Once you have that information, which is going to come through your email, then you will be able to take that, your employer identification number, and be able to get ready to set up to get your bank account. So what you want to do is I put a resource here that you can click to check for banks. Now you can easily go with the bank that you already have. What you'll do is you'll see if that particular bank can give you a business account, or you can just Google best banks for corporate accounts. So in my case, this information pulled up. So when this pulled up, what it did was it gave me a lot of the different types of services that they offer. So for instance, this is Blue Vine. So Blue Vine, I see here it has no fees. You can apply online in 60 seconds, and they have a mobile banking app. You definitely want to make sure that you'll have a mobile banking app because we do a lot of things with our phones now. So then we have Bank Novo. What I like about this one is that free ATM, including waiving and refunding fees you accrue from lenders that own the ATM you use. You can transfer funds, deposit checks. So just make sure that you look through this list, take down the information. There's Chase Banking as well, so that way when you get ready to decide, or you talk to your bank, you'll know what fits you best. All right. So now that's one resource, but of course you're not limited to this. You can also find your own resource. Now, the best thing to do is once you get that information from the bank that you want to use, or if you use your own bank, you want to ask your banker, what documents do I need to open up a corporate account? Let them give you the checklist. Let them tell you. Don't make any suggestions. Don't say, I heard somebody needed this. Just let them tell you what they need, and they may need less than what you thought. But most of the time, you're definitely going to need an ID, and you're definitely going to need your employer identification number along with the document saying that you're actually a corporation for the state. Now, one of the organizations that I have, my bank needed an operating agreement. So I have Navy Federal. So I don't know if it's just something that the credit unions do, but when I decided to open up a corporate account with them, they wanted that. So what I did, of course, was I Googled operating agreement. So when you click on this form, what it's going to do is it's going to take you to this page. So I went here, I put operating agreement for an LLC. I chose the state, which was North Carolina, and then I hit create document. So it's going to provide a really nice 12 to 15 page document. And the first thing is going to be the corporation name that you want to use. The business, Right there, that's simple enough to engage in and conduct any and all lawful business. Can't beat that. The state that it's in, you'll choose your state. And by the time you finish, it's going to have all this little information up there, and it's going to be a really nice form. All right. So even if your bank doesn't need that, this is something that you may want to do. Now, you may be able to Google operating agreement and find a better deal. This was very minute in the payment that I had to make. So that's why I went with this particular company. All right. So now, for those of you who have come through this process and you're looking to share it with someone else, you can send them to this link, bestseries.business. Right? It's going to take them right to this page. It's going to show them all of the 3 different parts. And they can register right from there, the same way that you registered. All right, so once you got that registration or you sent that to someone, they'll be able to join and they'll hear something similar to what we've gone through tonight. All right, guys. So now once I get back here, make sure you keep all the information in a safe place as well as online for easy accessibility. So just to recap, first thing that you want to do is think of a name, see if you can get that domain name as part of your brand. Click for the corporate name. Once you got that corporate name, you want to go to your Secretary of State and finish the process. It's going to be a fee. Some fees, depending on the state you're in, might be $300 and you can get it automatically. Some states may be a lot less. Then you're going to make sure you get your EIN number. Once you have your corporate docs, once you have your EIN, that's when you want to check with your bank or look for a bank that you will be able to open an account for. Once you open that account, even if you don't need an operating agreement, make sure that you get one so that way it'll be part of some of the things that you're going to need when it comes to getting funding, which will be covered next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So what I like to happen here, guys, is for you to take these steps. You can always come back to the website, click on them, get that done so that when we get to the funding portion, either you're incorporated or you're waiting for the last part of the docs so that you can get incorporated to get the bank account so that we can cover the funding, and then you'll be able to take those action steps. The goal that I have set for the people who come through this workshop is within 3 to 6 months for you guys to be able to have access to at least $50,000 so that you can move forward and doing what you need to do, as well as partnering with other people that you know that have come through and know how to get the funding so that you can do some big things. All right. So at that point, guys, I'm back. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. And if you have any questions for me, you can ask me those questions. You can unmute yourself, or you can also reach me on the chat. And so just let me share with you how this is going to work. For those of you who can't stay for the questions, what we can do is you will get an email, should be Sunday, with all of the questions that were asked that week. And you will have the answers to those. So it'll be a link to that. And it'll also have some additional resources that you may want to use for those of you who don't have me here. Now, if you're not that confident about filling out the form, you can always pay someone to do it. But if you'd like me to do it, normally it takes me an hour from start to finish. And that's with answering the questions to get you incorporated on the right track. That's definitely going to cost you $49 for the entire hour. But at least we'll get it done. For those of you who have lawyers or friends, or you can do it yourself, fine. Get it done, because you need to be able to take advantage of all the different programs that's going to be available due to what's going on at this time in our lives. All right. So with that said, if there's any questions, please ask them to me right now. Just unmute yourself or reach out through the chat.
Well, hello, this is Angela.
Hi, Angela. Where are you from?
I am from North Carolina.
Okay, great. What's your question?
I have an EIN number already from a previous business.
Okay.
Would that EIN number be good for a new business, or I have to get a new EIN number?
That's a good question. Uh, what I suggest is if it's a totally new business, get a totally new EIN number so that way there won't be any confusion. Now you can also use that EIN number for the same business. There's just some paperwork that you're going to have to go through with the IRS.
Okay. But other than that, I don't have any other questions. It all seems relatively simple at this point.
Mhm.
And I know I will be able to get started on my part on tomorrow
Okay,
and get myself incorporated.
that sounds like a plan. All right. So let me just make sure. So you're not incorporated right now, but you do have an EIN for a previous business that's dissolved.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
And that's the reason why I say that it's better to just start from scratch. You don't want to mix anything with that EIN because that EIN is also used for tax purposes. So one
Right.
of the things that you might want to look at is that when your taxes is done and you've got a new company and it may say, well, that other company you haven't had for 3 to 4 years, then there could be some challenges that come up with the way the government works. As we know, sometimes they take a lot of time on things. So with your new business, get a new EIN number for it so that everything's fresh.
Okay, that sounds good. Yes, I will do that.
Right. And it's all simple. You can form the corporation. Now, one of the things that I didn't show here is that you can also do this online. So as you saw, when I was able to pull that articles of organization up, uh, I I suggest that you do that first, fill it out so that you see it. And
Right.
then when you decide to apply online where you could pay right away, which is most likely the best way to do it, you can read what you have on those articles of organization you just completed to place that information online. Right.
Okay.
And so now with the employer identification number, the same thing. So there's also a publication out there that you can Google. Same thing, EIN, IRS publication, or just
Oh,
Google something like that. So once you do that, it'll tell you line by line what to put on the form and the definition of why it goes in that area. So that's another simple thing that you can do to get through the process if you're comfortable enough to do it on your own.
okay. Well, I do appreciate it. And other than that, I don't have any other questions.
Okay, great. Well, I'm glad that you was able to tune in this evening. And the main thing is that this is all about not only starting your corporation, not only putting yourself in a position to get that funding, but also finding people of like mind that you may want to do business with, and just have them go to the link bestseries.business so that way they can see what's in store. They can click on it, and then you will have a pool of people who, once you guys get funding, and even though your businesses might be similar or totally different, you can pool those resources together because especially with what's happening right now, you might be able to say, okay, I need a space, this person needs a space. So then you guys can find a commercial place to buy, because I don't believe in leasing a space, but you can find a place, commercial space that might be just the perfect size for all of you to put your money together to be able to own that asset producing uh, building. Because for one thing, you'll get the tax write-offs on the space in there, as well as the mortgages and things like that if you decide to form a corporation amongst yourselves just to purchase that space, and then you'll fund it. For those who fill out the operating agreement, you'll see there's an area in there that'll say, how did you fund this business? So at this point, you're the one that's putting up all the funding for the most part. But when it's a group of you that come together, and this commercial real estate that you might want to buy might be 30, 50, $70,000. All of you might contribute a certain amount to that building. And that's where that operating agreement will come in handy to show who did what on the percentages, as well as the joint venture agreement, which will bring to light exactly how the splits will be working.
I see. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds real good.
All right. Well, I definitely thank you for coming. And if there's anyone else that has any questions, you can ask those questions now. And just as stated before, the Business Success Channel, the email you received has the password to that so that you can log in and get some more education. And of course, I'll be here Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays for the next 6 months, 3 weeks out of the month. All right. So with that said, I'd like for everybody to stay safe out there and always think big.
Will do. Thank you.